What is good, guys? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's going on with the overall market right now. And I also want to provide you guys with a very, very quick update on Tesla and give you guys a warning about tomorrow as we have some big earnings coming out. But before I break things up, all this information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. I am firstly not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo, the link down below, and deposit $100 into the account, you're guaranteed up to 5 free stocks. This offer ends in just 3 days, so check it out before they run out. Anyways, let's break down what's going on with the market. The market ended up making some very similar moves as to what I was talking about in the morning before something new happened, that is a massive sell-off. So what happened in the beginning? We got this drop and this bounce throughout the market. We got a very, very nice balance that started us off before we got a very aggressive sell-off after some new data that came out. If you look at Tesla, same thing happened. We were talking about Tesla trying to base around this 260 area before a nice bounce, and that's where it went to, back up to 265, the level we called out. But then we got another sell-off because some new pieces of data have come out, leading Tesla to remain a little weaker. But I do want to warn you guys about something else that's very important about this. So this data came out right here. I don't know if it's showing right here, but you could see the 30-year mortgage rate was a little bit higher than what was expected and higher than the previous report. And this caused the market to slow down just a little bit. And then on top of that, we also saw the 30-year bond auction a little bit hotter than expected, showing more signs that yields could be going up. This has caused yields. Let me just show you the yield right here, the 10-year treasury yield. This has started to bounce a bit after that data has come out. And after getting this big bounce over the last 20 minutes, this is causing the market to slow down. So with yields going up because of the bonds data, the market is slowing down now. And with that coming out, I just want to warn you guys about how this is looking and also something about tomorrow. So we have just a couple of hours left until the market closes. I just want to warn you all that this is going to be your last chance to exit any like equities positions or any options or anything like that because we have the big bank earnings. All right. And I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow morning with these earnings. We have JP Morgan Chase, BlackRock, Citi, Wells Fargo, Progressive, PNC, big bank earnings for tomorrow. This is going to shake the markets. We could see a big pump because of them, or they could cause the market to slow down. So I just want to be very careful with this data coming out. I just wanted to warn you all that this could lead to an even bigger pullback, or it could cause the market to bounce. We're likely going to be gapping up or down, and based off how we move, it could be very unpredictable. So it is your choice as to what you want to do with this data coming out. You could hold overnight if you want. But I'm just letting you know that if you're not comfortable with holding through them, you could just exit and take profits or do anything like that. All right. So, anyways, going back to how the charts are looking, we're basically holding up quite decently. But then we got this little drop in the morning on SPY alongside Tesla. Got a nice bounce as time went on, but this was more of a liquidity grab. And when the bigger move ended up being an even bigger pullback because we got this rejection. We ended up breaking below 435 on SPY, and we came all the way down to our support at 433. So we're going to be watching 433 as support. If that breaks on SPY, all right, if that ends up breaking, we could see SPY come down to 432, and below that we have 430. Those are some important levels to watch for. Now, if we end up just like continuing to sell off, you're going to be watching some other important levels. I actually have my important Fibonacci retracement levels right here. Hopefully this chart's not that messy, but I just wanted to let you know that we're approaching the 0.382 retracement mark. It happens to be at 431. So if we do lose that 433, that's going to be a very important level to watch for, especially going into tomorrow. But once again, 433 is going to be very key. So we will see if that holds or not for the time being, with the market still continuing to sell off thanks to the bonds news that came out, not to mention other pieces of data such as the mortgage rates going up. So with this coming out, okay, we're going to be very careful going into the bank earnings. If they cause a big bounce, watch 435 as resistance, 436.5, then 437. And if we keep selling off thanks to the banks, that's going to be happening tomorrow. That could be very important. The market could be shifting its trend, starting a slight downtrend now as we're starting to establish potential lower lows and lower highs. So just be very careful. We will see how this continues to move. SPY also had a bearish divergence, which led to this sell-off. And Now for Tesla, Tesla's getting dragged down too. We're just barely holding support right here. So we have this channel on Tesla. You guys can see this thing was making higher highs and higher lows. We're barely holding 260 right now. We need to see buyers step in and defend their positions, try to get us to bounce back up. Because if we fail at this 260 area, we could see Tesla start to sink towards the next imbalance at 257. So we're going to be watching that very carefully. It's 257 point. I'm sorry, it's 258. That's where this imbalance is, 258. Below that, we have 257.5 as support. So watch this imbalance very carefully on Tesla. If that breaks, 255 could be next. So we're going to be watching this support very carefully. We're sitting at support on Tesla. We need to see buyers step in, or else the trend could shift. So just be very, very careful right here, and we'll see if Tesla could bounce or not, or at least try to hold this into close. All right. If we do hold this, watch 260. It's going to be either support or resistance. And above that, we have 262.5. Those are some important levels. For the QQQ, we got another aggressive sell-off. This thing it ended up bouncing quite nicely in the morning, started to trade sideways for most of the day. Then we got a very aggressive sell-off after the bond auction news that came out. We're going to be watching right now this 370 zone. It actually broke below it. So 368 is the next critical support if we continue to sell off. And that's what it looks like we're doing right now. We could see the 368s very soon, but those are going to be very key because as long as we hold above that, we're going to be fine. On the QQQ, it has more relative strength than SPY. If we lose 368 or on the NASDAQ, 368, if that breaks, okay, that's when we could turn more bearish and we're going to see 366 in these mid levels. So there's a risk of that potentially playing out. So just be very, very careful and watch that as support. Also watch 370 as resistance. For Nvidia, this is also starting to sell off a bit. We saw this thing come up to the level we called out. I was talking about 474 on Nvidia to 475. Instead, we went up to 476, a little bit hotter than expected before it came right back down, retesting this trend line and breaking below this. So now that 470 is broken, watch 468, 465, and then 461 as three supports, which are worth watching. If we lose this 461 area, we could turn more bearish and come back to the 458 area, which is where we have this gap down here. So watch that very carefully. We have this unfilled gap down here. If we lose 465, there's a risk of it potentially coming all the way down there. If we lose the support right here, which happens to be like 463-ish, that can lead to more downside. So watch those levels very carefully on Nvidia. It's looking a bit more bearish, so make sure you watch the supports I just called out. And then that's pretty much it for now, except for Aapl. Aapl is starting to sell off. This is the last one I'm going to talk about for now. Apple's beginning to sell off a little bit. We're just barely holding this 180 support. If we lose 180, which is where we have this confluence of support, we have this yellow support line, and also we have this support level. If 180 fails, this is going to come all the way down to 178 potentially. And if we end up bouncing off this 181.5, could be the next resistance zone if we try to hold. For now, Apple's looking a bit weaker, so watch 180 very carefully. Could just kind of range trade here for a bit. But if we end up losing it as time goes on, especially going into tomorrow, things could change a lot. So don't forget, big bank earnings tomorrow morning before the market opens. This is your last chance to secure profits if you want. It's all up to you guys. I'm not going to force you to do anything. But just know that the market could be unpredictable when we have earnings coming out. So we'll wait and see how this goes. All right. All I just wanted to do is provide you guys with a warning, not pressuring you to do anything. Remain calm, cool, and collected, guys. And I'll see you guys later on for the next video. Thank you so much for listening, and peace out.